welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your hosts, Daniel.
And Daniel.
And welcome to today's episode. We have a special episode ahead of us for you. We're going to be doing an interview here in just a moment.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a board game breakdown, so we are doing this a little bit out of order. Chits and Giggles will be next week instead of the normal cycle, just because you were able to pull a designer for us to interview. Trey Chambers.
That's right. So we'll be welcoming him on the episode a little bit later. But before we do that, normally we get into the banter. We got some time to keep. Let's get into the news.
All right. Sounds good. First thing I want to talk about is one I kind of hinted at last week when we talked about when they did the top 8 debate of the 25th Century Games. The big one here is I just saw it on their Instagram. They are going to be reprinting one of the games I do like a lot, Snowtails. It is going to change art, no longer Best Sobel, but now Andrew Bosley art, with redesigned components, some new surprises apparently, that's what they're talking about, and it will be going to crowdfunding later this year, 2026. It looks really nice. I showed you a little picture of it, and you're like, okay, that's cool. It looks like instead of placing the cards for the track, when you play a card, you're going to move. It has little track components, it looks like on the picture, so with the animals. So we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it. It looks nice, and I like that game a lot.
Awesome. First piece of news I want to talk about was the Crew Journeys to the Edges of the Earth. It's a new version of the Crew, and a new experience that has a more explorative manner of it. Like, it's not just like, hey, you're delving into the ocean or you're going to space. It's talking about parts of the earth, so I'm sure they're going to take like different kinds of landscapes, different factors into it. I mean, as much theme as they could put into a trick-taking, which we recently played a pretty thematic trick-taking game. I don't know if the Crew is going to pull that off, but it has me intrigued because I'm all about, like, I've been watching a lot of like GeoGuessr and like people going on adventures around the earth, and I love stuff like that. So
it intrigues me. I don't know how they're going to throw exploration into a trick-taking game.
I don't either,
but I'm intrigued by it.
Yeah, my ears are perked, to say the least.
All right, my next bit of news is some big news. We use Board Game Geek for a lot of our references and stuff like that. So the big news as of last week, I think they were announcing the Hall of Fame inductions into 2026 for the Board Game Geek. The big ones here are games that are made meaningful contributions to the hobby. That's what they're doing for the Hall of Fame inductions. It is through a jury selection, and 5 games got nominated. That was Terraforming Mars, Memoir 44, Love Letter, For Sale, and Puerto Rico, as you can see in my new version right up there. I enjoy a lot of these games. The only one I haven't played is Memoir 44, but I think For Sale...
That's a long time ago.
For Sale deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I think Puerto Rico...
Love Letter, too.
And Love Letter for what it did for the microgaming aspect of things. So I don't disagree with any of these. I think Terraforming Mars, it's 10 years old, but I don't know if it really changed anything to gaming. No, don't get me wrong. I love the game, and I think it's fantastic. Love Letter made changes. Memoir 44 made wargaming a lot easier for board gamers. Puerto Rico is just a fantastic Euro that did a lot for simple action turns and stuff like that. And then For Sale, it really put auction games out there, too.
Absolutely. Speaking of small little card games, The Gang is getting a deluxe version.
Already sold out on pre-order on Game Nerds. I looked into it.
It doesn't surprise me in the slightest because it has not only the original game, it has clay chips apparently, which is absolutely awesome. It has a playmat and it has expansion modules. And the original game is $15, and it's fantastic. I actually played it on Friday.
The deluxe edition, $40 is not horribly bad because especially the kind of poker chips you're getting into.
Yeah, I'll probably buy it.
I'm buying it. I just hope I can find it.
Yeah, right. We'll see. It'll be out eventually. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's sold out in almost all pre-orders online.
Sure. Yeah, well, we'll just wait for there to be an unpre-order, as in a normal order.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, my next bit of news here is more CMON news, and it's not good again.
Oh, no.
They are exploring for a chance for more IP, intellectual property sales. They still had a massive loss this past year, so the remaining major assets they still have is like Massive Darkness and the United series. They're also doing a lot more batch deliveries to retails to help fund a lot of their manufacturing. As of right now, they have 8 undelivered crowdfunding still
Haven't
alive.
Still caught up. Oh.
And they sold one of those, so it's not even included in this. You have DC United, you have Deceased, Mordred, God of War, Masters of Universe, Clash for Eternia, Massive Darkness, A Song of Ice and Fire Tactics, and the Genesis Clan Wars, but there's a whole thing about that because of a lawsuit and stuff like that. So I don't know what's going on there. They are stating as of right now they're not asking backers for more money. But they did a recent sell where they were trying to bring in more shareholders and it failed, so it didn't do well on that aspect. So we'll see what happens, but still 8 undelivered crowdfunding, and now they're also looking to sell more IPs. I don't know what's left. They already got rid of all the Eric Lang trilogies and everything there, so
probably some of their backroom stuff. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, next one. Also, speaking of reprints and reversions and all that stuff, that's all what I'm talking about today. There's a new game called Greylune, Lune, or Greylune, and this is essentially by William Attia, and this is from Sorry We Are French, and it's like a reprint. It's speculated that it's a reprint of Spirium, which is an old Istari game, which was really clever. You would put out like a worker between 2 locations, and you'd get the actions between the 2. So it had like this whole like cross there. It had like a grid of things.
It's kind of like the Tiernanog that we played.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Except less about like the control of it, and more like just
that I get that.
These are your actions you get. Yeah, and it was pretty cool. Spirium was a really clever game, and I mean, a lot of these stories I kind of fell flat on, but the Spirium I kept for a reason because I really did enjoy it.
Okay. All right. The last bit of news I want to talk about real quick is Disney Lorcana. Their sales are down as of 2025, even though they sold out of a lot of stuff. It's not meeting what their original surge was from 2021 on. Those are just some massive surges. Basically, from what they're saying, it's basically normalized after the initial surge. They have their 12th set launching in May, which is going to introduce Pixar characters.
Yeah. 12 sets. Yeah. Whoa.
They also have another set that's going to be dropping in February, which will be their 11th set. The 12th set is introducing Toy Story characters, their first Pixar in that line. But they're saying everything is fine, everything's normalizing, they're just getting prepped for their next sets, and everything looks good in that kind of CCG aspect.
Cool. And my very last piece of news, Las Vegas, the dice game, is getting a reprint. And not a cheap Amazon knockoff. Let's be clear on that. Don't fall for that one. Look into how Las Vegas works, and it's getting a new reprint. I don't know if it's going to be a better version, a fancier version. For a while, Target was selling like just this cubic die.
Yeah. And
that's the version that I have. Like that box was annoying, but it was awesome at the same time.
Well, it's funny because we just recently played Las Vegas Royale, which has all the extra abilities and stuff like that. And I'm sitting there like, this is fun. I like these modules. Let me go back to the regular game.
Yeah, I just like enough. Yeah. It didn't need to have anything fancy. But there you go. That's the news for right now. Then when we come back, we'll be with Trey Chambers. All right, and we're back. As we said, we're bringing you a special guest today. We have with us Trey Chambers. Say hello.
Hey, guys.
All right, so Trey, we had the pleasure of meeting at BGG-Con in 2025 in November. What is that, BGG-Con Fall?
I don't know what they.
I don't know if they call them fall. I know there's the spring, but BGG-Con 2025. We had the pleasure of meeting Trey. I have been familiar with your work for a number of years, having played those that we're going to get into now. But why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I've been designing games since, I don't know, like 2012 or so. My first game got published in like 2015. And my day job is I'm a high school English teacher. And I teach a lot of things. I teach government, I teach economics, I teach creative writing, I teach English. So, yeah, it keeps me very busy. And as far as board games, obviously I've been into games since I was a kid, and basically kind of just self-taught how to make prototypes. I just had an idea, like, I was at a friend's house who made, like, custom board game pieces, and I asked him how he did it, and it was super simple, and I was like, oh, well, I can take that concept and make board game prototypes, and so I did. And that's kind of how I got into prototyping, because I've had ideas for games, like, ever since I was a kid, just always been a big gamer. and I've always been able to like just design games in my head as well. So that gave me the ability to kind of move forward with it.
Well, that's awesome. And so, you said you're an English teacher, representing teachers. You know, listeners of the podcast know I'm a technology teacher as well, an elementary school teacher. So, teachers unite. You know, not this guy.
No. I was in the medical field. I'm
a lot
good.
of teachers in board games.
I've noticed that there is a high crossover rate of people who are in the education field and people who just like playing games. I guess it's like the proximity, like just hanging out with kids all day and us being like child. Like in a weird way, I get along really well with my students because we just all play games all day. Like I'm as happy like rolling meeples into a tube or whatever, like moving pieces around the board that kids love too. So. Better than those stuck-up adults, in my opinion. You know, too cool for board games. Come on, who needs it? All right. So you said you got into games. We're gonna go over your gameography right now here in a moment, and then we'll talk about possible future things, and we'll end with a few questions for you. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right. So if you're watching on the video podcast, you can see the screen right here, our BGG page. You said you got into gaming around board game design around 2012. Let's talk about the very first game that you had printed, which is Argent: The Consortium. Tell us about what you came up with, how'd you get it printed, what the game is about.
So, the idea for that game came to me in a dream. It was about elemental mages fighting in a university. So kind of like, I guess, Avatar: The Last Airbender meets Harry Potter type thing. Funny enough, I wasn't into like either of those properties at the time, but it's probably in my subconscious or whatever. And
Sure.
but it basically took place in a magical university where like there were these fire mages who were like killing everybody, and it was like it was like intrigue, right? Like no one knew that there were like secret fire mages there, and like. So all the different elements had to like try to gang up and fight them, and it was just a really interesting idea. And then I just took that idea and I made a prototype. And so the original Argent prototype was actually like the different elements. Like every school was a different element.
Okay.
Every school of magic was a different element. Now, when Level 99 took it, they got rid of that. They had their own like lore and magic schools that they applied it to. But I mean, it's still there. Like we turned the water school into divinity. We turned fire school into sorcery, so it was easy to translate everything over to their lore.
That's awesome. So, like, for Argent: The Consortium, this is the first game that I've played of yours, and you said friend of the podcast, Level 99 Games. We've had Brad and Josh on the podcast a number of times. We're good friends of the podcast. How did you meet them, and how did you pitch the game?
So Level 99 picked it up at one of those publisher speed dating events. Before it was called publisher speed dating, I forget what it was called. Maybe it still was, but it was very different than how it works now. Because now it's more about pitching. You don't really play the games as much. You just pitch them to publishers. But in the early goings, it was I think it was maybe organized by Jill Hova, who still does, or Gil Hova that does he does like Proto Alley. Right.
Oh, okay.
At BGG-Con. I believe he organized the event. So it must have been like maybe 2014 or something like that. And then I brought Argent there, and I'd been meeting with every publisher, and every publisher said the same thing. Like, this is a great game, but it's not for us. You know, like it was a hard sell, I guess. Like, because it's like it's a heavy game, and it's also like a Euro game, but it's also got some Ameritrash elements. So it's like all these things that like. There's not a lot of publishers that do all of that, and Level 99, of course, is one of them. And then Brad, I didn't know Brad, and he sat down and he played the entire game, the entire prototype, and after the prototype, he was like, "I want to publish this game," and I was like, "Thank goodness," because I was about to give up on game design. Like I'd been traveling like to convention, showing off prototypes to publishers, and like just not getting any response. So I was very fortunate.
What was this actually your first design or one of your first designs?
It was maybe my second design. My first design, which I still think is a good game, was like a Euro version of Werewolf, so kind of like Battlestar Galactica, but I think it predated Battlestar Galactica. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it was kind of like basically the village trying to survive against werewolves, and there was hidden traders and stuff, and that's like one of the mini designs that's on my shelf that maybe I'll pick back up one day. But it kind of has the same problem as Argent. It's like all these mixture of like Ameritrash and Euro elements, so it might be a hard sell. But let me tell you, it is so much easier to get your board games published once you already have your foot in the door. Like once publishers know that you're a proven commodity, they're much more willing to hear your pitches and see your games. Like I could probably get a meeting with most publishers, whereas like there's so many like people trying to get published that there's just there's a lot of just prototypes out there that they get constantly pitched. So.
Yeah, I think today, this day and age, going back to what you're saying, a mix of Euro and Ameritrash, I think it's better nowadays than it was back then, because a lot of people are blending the two, get a lot of theme into the Euro style of gaming too.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was much more segregated back then between Euros and Ameritrash, so yeah, it probably would be a lot easier to get published. So maybe I should pull that game off the shelf. I don't know. There's just like there's so many hours in the day, It's so much work to get a design ready to show publishers. So, but hopefully one day I'll go back to it.
I'm nodding my head because yes, the listeners of the podcast know that all too well. You got to see the same thing. We played each other's prototypes. So we know it's a thing.
Yeah,
it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, next game we have on our list, I pulled up both versions of it. It is Harvest. The first one is the Tasty Minstrel version, I believe, that I have pulled up here. And then it just recently got reprinted not too long ago, am I correct?
Yeah. Originally published by Tasty Minstrel, like 17 or something like that. And then Keymaster Games picked it up just 2 years ago, and they originally were just going to republish it, but then they decided they wanted me to make it better, and so I did. I put in like 6 more months of work into it and basically redesigned the whole game. Like it still has the same title and it has the same turn order mechanic, but that's about it. Like almost every other aspect of the game has changed in some way. So it's not really even so much a reprint as it is like a reimagining.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, because I've played the Keymaster version. I never played the Tasty Minstrel version of it. I did enjoy the Keymaster version.
Awesome, yeah. It's by far my most successful game because it made it into Target and Barnes & Noble and all that, so it's done really well.
How does that feel when you go into Barnes & Noble and Target and you see copies of your game?
It's like the best feeling in the world. It was like on my bucket list. Like get a game into a big retail store, and I accomplished that with my 4th/2nd game. So, knocked that out. So I don't even know like my long-term, I think my long-term game design goals are like get enough games published to where I can like support myself on just the royalties and, but I can retire in 8 years. So like is that even that big of a deal? Not really, because I'll be able to tap into my pension in 8 years. So it's like I'm not really that concerned about it, but it'd be nice.
Now, forgive me if you don't mind my asking. You said you can retire in 8 years. You look a lot younger than I'm guessing at this point. Do you mind my asking how old you are?
Yeah, I'm 43. But our pension, we just have to have 80 years, so like years of service plus your age, which I will hit when I'm 53. It's no longer like that in Texas. Like they got rid of that because that's a pretty sweet deal, like to be able to retire in your 50s. So now they force people to work until they're 65, I think, but I was grandfathered in, so
okay.
That's I was very fortunate.
So where about in Texas do you reign from?
I'm in the Houston area. I'm in a suburb of Houston.
I have experience with the traffic in Houston I don't want to deal with again.
It's pretty bad. I've heard Austin's even worse, though. But
I was in bumper-to-bumper traffic. We started in Katy, Texas, and it took us 3 hours just to get out of Houston. We hit at out rush hour.
Yeah, I basically don't get on the roads between 5 and 7. Like 7 o'clock is the earliest I will get on the roads.
So from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m., right? You know, you're only drive overnight.
No, it's not that bad. I mean, it's still pretty bad during the day, but like at 5 o'clock, it's like gridlock, so might as well not even bother at that point.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like you can just bike down the sidewalk and beat most of the people, right? You know.
That is correct.
Yeah. So I as Daniel was saying, I think I used to own the original Harvest. Forgive me if I had a bunch of like I know they had a series of games that were like Harbor, and they kind of claimed that they were like similar-ish. They totally weren't similar games.
They took place in the same setting called Gull's Bottom. It was kind of like a jokey fantasy setting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But mechanically they had nothing in common, but.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very much they were different. But I remember playing Harvest, and it was weirdly familiar because I didn't put two and two together that this was also from the same designer as Argent. You know, and I've played Imperial, which we'll get to in a minute. So this was the third one I had played of yours, and it felt weirdly familiar, even though it was a totally different game. And so.
And we played a partial version of Harvest at G.A.M.E.R, the G.A.M.E.R Expo in 22, I think?
Yeah.
Or 23. I don't know if it was still Reno or if it was in Louisville. When
it was in Was it? I don't know.
So
I think it was in... No, it had to have been Louisville because I hated sandbags.
Oh, that's true. Okay. We played it in Louisville, which was about 2 years ago, and then we just played a full version of it about 6 months later because our buddy got a copy of it, and I enjoyed the mess out of it. I love a worker placement game, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different from Argent. It's much shorter, much tighter, but I still think it's a great game. It's especially for like, you don't have 3 hours to play a game. It's a good one to pull out.
Right, absolutely. All right, and let's get into the third title, which is Imperial Spells and Steam. So tell us about it.
Right. So Imperial, the inspiration for that game was really like Terra Mystica, which is still one of my favorite games. And the other inspiration was that there's a lot of train games that I like, but there was none that I love. So I wanted to my design challenge to myself was I wanted to design a train game that I was absolutely in love with. And I was like, well, maybe I can take some of these elements in Terra Mystica, specifically like the color wheel, like the whole different terrains are easier to build on. And like, what if I can convert that into a train setting? So it's not just like, oh, there's mountains and there's plains and that's it. Like, there's only these two terrain types in most train games. But so like, I took that concept and I kind of went wild with it and came up with basically like a custom rondelle system, which is still a pretty rare mechanic. I can't believe there's not more games that have custom rondelles. Right. Or just rondelles in general. I feel like it's a very underused mechanic. So I worked with that. I was just like, and of course, lots of asymmetrical powers, lots of different powers that you can pick up over the course of the game, because that's what I'm all about. I love like asymmetry and just like special player powers and things like that. So I added a ton of that to the game as well. And then it just kind of went from there. Originally, it was actually a deck builder, funnily enough.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but I'm glad I didn't go that route because I think the current route is much better.
I'm always a sucker for a rondelle, so...
Yeah, and it's have you played this one yet?
No.
Forgive me. Okay, I'll have to bring my copy.
You keep saying you're going to bring it, and you never do.
I keep saying it. I need to bring it. Because I am just super charmed by it. I have the deluxe one, which is Level 99 knows how to produce a game. Is all I'm saying. They really do. So, of course, and as I said earlier, this was another Level 99 game. Did you approach Level 99 with this design, or did you float it into the market as well?
Yeah, I pretty much show most of my designs to Level 99 first because they're the first ones that took a chance on me, and not every game is a good fit for them. Right. They passed on the original version of Harvest because it was like €2 for them. But Imperial, was like all these bells and whistles, and they like the steampunk aspect of it. So I don't think I showed it to anyone else. I think I showed it to Brad at Level 99, and he was just like, "Oh, this is great," and then we just started developing it from there. That's
fantastic. And of course, both of those games have a crazy amount of expansions. Actually, every game has a lot of expansions that we're looking at. Do you try to focus with that, or do you have everything with the expansions and then they trim it down and you do expansions later?
All of mine have not been designed with the expansion in mind, and then later on, like the publisher will come to me and be like, "Hey, like we can let's do this. Like let's add an expansion. I even designed one for the for Tasty Minstrel for the first version of Harvest, but they never got around to making it.
Mm.
But yeah, it hasn't been like I cut stuff out and then we repackage it into an expansion later. It's always been like, oh, let's have more of a good thing. So they'll ask me, and I'll always come up with expansion ideas. Like, 'cause I feel like I could expand the game forever.
Yeah, I mean, a game like this where there's so many awesomely cool moving parts, there's room for expansions. I mean, just more train cars alone is just like that. That adds so many wrinkles, so many variables already. That's in the game. Like one little more, like a handful of tiles is just like exponential growth, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
The one of the expansions for Harvest is just like, it's literally just 5 cardboard tiles, but people will tell you it's like, it even changes the game more than the bigger expansion, because all it does is it changes spots on the board, but like it really like changes how the whole game plays. So yeah, you can do a lot with a little expansion and a few tiles.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us how it changes it.
There's the trading post. You can change either the costs or the rewards that you get from the trading post. You can change the general store, like the items the general store offers. You can change how the buildings are scored. You can change how the other expansion, which is like the Fall Festival expansion, you can change how those spots work. The places where you put your basket, which is like an extra worker essentially. So yeah, like it completely changes like how the game plays out. So, there's so many characters in the game, it's hard to get tired of it anyway, but if anybody ever gets tired of Harvest, I'm just like, just pull out that expansion and it'll really change things up.
All right, cool. Well, that's the 3 games that we have on BGG, so we're going to start doing some rapid-fire questions for you here.
But before we get into that, do you have anything upcoming that you want to talk about, or any designs that you would like to just like throw into the ether, and hopefully some publishers are listening and go, you know what, that sounds cool, let me reach out?
Well, I feel like I'm already overcommitted with my current projects, so I don't want to throw any pitches out there that could get picked up just yet. Well, actually, there's this one game that I started designing that's really simple. It's a trick taker, and there's already a million trick takers. I feel like this is the year of trick takers. Like, I feel like 24 trick takers came out this year, but it's trick taking with special powers, but not like Origins, the Jamie Stegmaier game, which is very good.
Yeah.
But it's a very different take on that. So anyway, if you're a publisher and you're looking for a trick taking game that's got like special abilities and lots of asymmetry, let me know, and I can maybe pitch that to you. But other than that, the only game that I have coming up that's been announced, like I have at least one project that hasn't been announced, and I don't want to say anything yet, but I have another project with Level 99 that has been announced, and it's called Falcon is the code name, but that's not the actual name of it. But it's essentially like a war game that takes place in the same universe as Argent. So like the world of Indians, which is Brad's own universe, and that should be hitting crowdfunding in 2027. And that's a game I've been working on for like 6 years. Like it has been through so many iterations, but we finally got to a place where we feel confident about it, and we're not. We're gonna balance test the heck out of it, but we're not developing it anymore. It's like pretty much done. It just he has a lot of games in his schedule, so we have to wait for an opening to get it in there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's actually showed us quite a bit of some of the stuff that he's coming out with.
Yeah. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not, I think that card game that you're talking about, the Trick Team game, was the one that I played of yours.
Oh. No, that was a different trick taker.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to. Okay, never mind. Cut. No, I'm not trying to say anything else. Okay, I broke it. I broke the internet. My apologies. All right. So with that being said, let's do the rapid fire questions. What's going on here?
All right.
All right. Here we go. So I'll bring up the Coin of Doom, shall we?
Go ahead.
This, by the way, Trey, this is our coin of doom, or
One of many.
One of many coin of dooms that we flip, and this determines on who asks the first question. Here we go. I'll be starting this off. So, from a board game designer perspective, this is where I'm going to take it because listeners of the podcast know that I design games. Daniel is just an avid player of it, so we're going to be approaching these questions from two different ways. The way I describe your games to other people is it's essentially a buffet, like, in a way. And what I mean, and I mean this absolutely as a compliment, is that there is so many awesome moving pieces and parts and components and variables that you can manage. I'm stumbling in my words here. But one of the things that I really find fascinating is that, and I'm not trying to compare this to Catan, please don't think that I am, but in Catan, right, there's 5 resources, but they're functionally the same thing. Like, you could just, plug in, yeah, sure, you need sheep for this thing, right, or you need wood for this thing. But what Trey has done is almost every resource or token or whatever has a different function. And that is fascinating to me. And so, how do you approach game design when you know that, like even in Harvest, something that's simple, the remake of it, even the pumpkins are, a weird shape. And then, the wheat, the grain, it takes up a lot of space, but it's not as powerful as others. How do you approach it when you know that these pieces or cards or components are going to have such different ways that they work?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I think you have to let theme guide you on that. That's why, the fertilizer works like fertilizer in Harvest, and the water works like water, makes your crops grow. And that's why they work so differently. And water works like water. You fill up a bucket with it, and you use it to water your crops. Use the fertilizer to plant crops, because that's what you do in real life, right? And then the crops are just different shapes because, crops require different resources. And the whole thing behind grain giving you fertilizer when you take it is because grain is actually a really common crop used to for crop rotation, because it does put nutrients back to the soil. So that was totally informed by the theme of the game. That wasn't an idea I had that was just oh, what if grain gave you fertilizer back? It wasn't anything like that. It was literally just me researching farming and realizing that grain does that. And then that's when we added the fertilizer in. And obviously behind the scenes we have to rebalance a bunch of stuff for that. But that's generally, how it did. And then for Argent, it was for mana, we wanted to power the spells. So we used the mana for that. And for the money, we use it to purchase items. So, it was easy to make that division. So yeah, I think what I would tell game designers is just let the theme kind of guide those creative decisions, because you don't want the resources to all functionally just be the same thing, just with different names that you plug in different combinations to get the result. You want them to feel different, right?
Very cool.
All right, so my question for you is, you mentioned it with Argent, where it came to you in a dream and you came up with the idea for Argent and how you wanted to do it. So my question is, does the concept of the theme or game style come to you first, or is it a specific type of mechanism that you want to put a theme on top of?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say it has worked both ways. I've just been laying in bed and then thinking about a theme and then designing the game around the theme. But I've also with Imperial, it was really inspired by the mechanics of Terra Mystica, and also just there wasn't a train game that I was absolutely in love with, so I was just I want to design a train game that I want to play, and so that was pure design, and then we added in the theme later. So yeah, I would say for me it works both ways and has.
Okay, cool.
All right, my next question. What designers or designs, so you brought up Terra Mystica, pick one of each. What's a designer that really influences how you approach games, and what's a game that you found it really inspires how you design games?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I wish I had this one in advance, because really think about it.
You know what? I'll tell you what. If you want, we can throw this at the end of the questions, and it'll give you the whole interview to think about it, while we completely make you forget about that question.
No, I definitely Uwe Rosenberg. As you can tell, I design a lot of worker placement. I feel like it's just a really solid mechanic that you can do a lot with, and some of his games are my favorite games. And my first favorite game, and it's still like in my top three any given day. I would call it my favorite game. Is Agricola, and the cards in that game really inspired me. So that's both kind of a designer and a game all in one because like Agricola inspired me to love worker placement, but also to love like every game feeling different. To me, that is a hugely important thing with game design because like if I want to spend money on a game, I don't want to like spend it, play it 3 times, and then put it back on the shelf or sell it. Right? If I only play it 3 times and feel like it's gonna have the same feeling every time. Like I'd rather one of my friends buy it than me buy it. So I try to like I pursue games that have a lot of replayability built in, and my design philosophy is also that. And I feel like Uwe, especially with like Agricola, Feast for Odin, Hallertau, and a few others, like he really has a good mechanic base, but also really good like every time I play this game, it's going to feel totally different. So that I would say that was my biggest inspiration.
Awesome.
All right, going along with the designers, it kind of answers my question right now with Juve, but are there any designers dead or alive that you would have loved or love to work with and co-design a game with?
Oh yeah. So my I guess friend who is also a designer that I'm closest with is Eric Royce, who made Spirit Island. Um, and he made a few other games, but like Spirit Island is his big one that took off. And he has like small children, so he doesn't have a lot of time. We have tried to co-design a game, but it just kind of fell off because like he really puts almost all of his creative focus into Spirit Island because that game is still being developed and new expansions and things. But yeah, I would love to co-create a game with him because we have very similar tastes and very similar design philosophies, I think. Another Eric Lang, I always hang out with him at BGGCon, and he's obviously a great designer. So I would definitely love to design a game with him. He made my favorite war game, which is Chaos in the Old World. So I'd love to design like a war game with him or something like that. I think that would be really great.
Cool. Very cool. All right. Which IP would you like to work with? Like, if you had your choice now, and I'm not going to assume one, but I did see you in a Star Trek shirt on your Board Game Geek page. So, but feel free to name the IP you want to work with.
That's a great question. I feel like any of the ones that I love, and there's so many that I love, I would be fine with. Like every time I play a bad IP game, I'm like, how did this person get the rights? Like this game is just bad and like very underbaked, and like how did they get a publisher or the rights holder to take a chance on them? Why can't that happen to me? If man, that was a tough question. I mean, fantasy wise, I would probably still say Game of Thrones just because I just feel like there's so many Lord of the Rings games. I mean, like Lord of the Rings is obviously like a better story. It certainly has a better ending, but like Game of Thrones.
We don't know if it's a better ending yet. If you don't count this end of the show as canon, right? We don't know.
Well, he's never going to finish.
He's never going to finish.
I don't even know if he's ever going to finish Winds of Winter, much less Dreams of Spring. So yeah. But yeah, I feel like there's a few decent Game of Thrones games, but I feel like there could definitely be more. So I would love to. And then fantasy. I mean, I love Star Trek and Star Wars, but I'd probably go Star Wars over Star Trek. I don't know. That's actually a really tough one that I haven't even thought about. Or maybe Blade Runner. Blade Runner is like my favorite movie, and there's not a really like Blade Runner licensed game, at least not a modern one. So I think that would be a lot of fun.
I'm trying to think. Like, I thought I saw one, but now I can't name it, so maybe I haven't.
I haven't seen a Blade Runner game.
Yeah.
And I like Blade Runner a lot.
Huh.
What are your thoughts on the sequel?
I thought it was great. I mean, I had very low expectations because I was like, oh, I can't believe all these years later they're gonna make a sequel. Like, I mean, I love the director. I can never pronounce his name. Denis Villeneuve or something.
Yeah.
The Dune guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And I loved Arrival, so like I had faith in the director, but I still was like, Blade Runner is like a perfect movie to me. So I'm like, oh man, I was very worried. I didn't have high hopes, but yeah, my expectations were really I love that movie. it's not better than Blade Runner, but like, it's still in my top 10 movies of all time. Like Blade Runner's number one, and 2049 is probably like 7 or something like that. It's still like one of my favorite films.
But which version of Blade Runner? The director's cut, the super director's cut, or how many different...
You're talking movie. He's the movie guy. Like, this is great.
I mean, people are passionate about that. Like, I mean, the final cut's the best, obviously, but my dad loves the theatrical cut, and which is crazy because most people don't. I'm fine with either because, what's cool about the narration is that it's, it's kind of like old noir movies, which I love noir. So like the narration doesn't bother me. So I can watch either one, but I mean, like Final Cut, they made so many cool changes that's the version that
I do enjoy the Final Cut a lot too. But like I can watch any of the versions, directors and the theatrical cut. It's all fine to me. I don't notice too much of a difference. But with that being said, going back into games, because I can talk movies with you all day.
Yeah, I'm a big film buff myself.
When you're pitching to board game companies and stuff like that, what do you think works the best for you?
I feel like you're asking the kind of questions I should be asking right now. That's great. Carry on.
It's funny because like I haven't really had to pitch many games like ever since Argent got published. I don't really pitch games. I more like just talk to publishers because once I tell them who I am, then they know my games, and so we can just kind of like talk shop. It's more like I tell them like, hey, I have this this really cool idea for a game. Would you like to try out the prototype? So I don't pitch as much as like show like, hey, I have this game. It has this mechanics. Would you like to see it? Right. But yeah, as far as pitching, I mean, like you want something that grabs their attention, but also is marketable. So I would say like, designers trying to get published, like, within the first couple of sentences, you need to explain why your game would make them money, but also explain why it's different and interesting. I think is the two priorities that you want to get across whatever your pitch is. And I know because I'm in like a bunch of game design groups and some of these game designs, it's like it's literally just a reskin of like a game that I've played before, and I'm like, they're not gonna publish this because it's it's like Wingspan with turtles, but they already make their own different versions of Wingspan. They got Finspan and Wormspan. Like they don't need Turtlespan. I mean, they might make Turtlespan, but they'll make it in house. They don't need your version of Turtlespan.
Yeah.
Now I want to play Turtlespan. Now I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you willed it into existence. Now, Stonemeyer, if you're listening, no. He's been on the podcast before. Jamie is a great guy, but yeah. I don't think he's listening. He might be. I don't know.
He might. He saw the last podcast I was on. He watched that interview and he contacted me because I raved about Vantage, and he's like, "I'm so glad you enjoyed Vantage." And I'm like, "Oh, great. Well, I'm glad you saw that."
Yeah.
Because Vantage is a really interesting game.
Him and I have been ranting and raving about Vantage lately. Like that's just been like one of our best of like 2025. He should be listening to.
Yeah. I mean, I have everything of his on that shelf right there.
Yeah, there you go. All right. My next question is, what mechanism is next? And what I mean by that is like, what's a mechanism that you're working with, that you're playing with, that you're like really intrigued by? Which happens to be his follow-up question as well.
Well, I've clearly been designing trick taking a lot lately. I'd like to do a trick taker for sure. I was gonna say like do a war game, but I already have a couple of war games in the pipeline, so maybe I should do something else. I would like to design a civilization game. I feel like there's all these civilization games out there, but like to me, like none of them are perfect. Like a lot of them are really close. Like Civolution, that one right behind you, is probably my favorite. And it comes so close to like having everything I want, but it doesn't really have war at all, like in any way. So it kind of doesn't have that whole aspect. But yeah, like there's I guess my favorite before that was Sid Meier's Civilization, and that game is brilliant, but it's like it's so kind of clunky. Like it's hard to set up, it's hard to take down, it's hard to teach. it has its own like issues, but yeah, I would say that's my second favorite. But like, yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with Civolution. I just wish it had that other aspect.
That's fair.
I wish it didn't eat so much of the table where I had to get side tables just to play the game. We played a 3-player game of it. It took up the whole table, and I had to get one of my side tables to put my character stuff on.
Yep, that's Civolution. It's kind of crazy. When I hand people the player board, they get really intimidated. I'm like, it's really not that bad.
It's not the player board that's intimidating. It's the 8-page rule reference book that you have.
Reference you have.
Like, this isn't the rules, by the way. This is your reference guide. It's like, oh no.
And yeah, I really haven't had trouble teaching that game because it's honestly very intuitive.
Yeah.
So kudos to them. But
yeah, it's just very intimidating when people see it for the first time. I know when I had to set it up and my wife saw it, she's like, nope, and walked away.
Nope.
Yeah.
So then, do you have a follow-up? I'm sorry to steal your thunder there.
No, that's all good. The one thing I do want to know is, like, for other designers who do listen to the podcast and stuff like that, what advice would you give them?
So people trying to get published, or just people
just in general for game design as well as getting published and stuff like that?
Yeah, I would definitely say you're trying to get published, go to those speed dating events because there's a lot of publishers that attend them. And also, since they're at the speed dating event, they're looking for titles, right? Because a lot of publishers, they're already booked up for like the next couple of years. So like, yeah, you can go to their booth and like work up the courage to like make your pitch and all that, but like you might just be wasting your time and theirs because they have no holes in their schedule. So like, yeah, I would highly recommend the publisher speed dating events. Go to as many cons as possible, get as many eyeballs on it as possible. I would say, don't be disheartened because like success is so much luck. Like there's a lot of great games out there that'll never get published, sadly. It's just about like being right place at the right time, but you'll never get published if you don't go out there, right? Yeah. So go to conventions, talk to publishers. Also, it might help if and this is a big ask because there's a lot of publishers, but if you know the kind of publishers that would like your game, like you look at their catalog and you're like, oh, they publish, my kinds of games, like that would also help narrow your search. Because you can maybe identify a publisher that would be perfect for your game, and then they're much more likely to publish it because, every publisher has their own kind of like niches, right? Like when I showed Harvest to Level 99, they liked it. It's not that they didn't like it, but like that's not a Level 99 game. It's just too like Euro for them.
Yeah. And bringing in Level 99 as the example, like they've been good friends of mine for many years, and they're the same thing. My design style is very much like, quick, simple, like I try to make it close to as simplistic as I can, and they have the unique ability to just like run wild with like the most possible options in a reasonable way. Like it's. But yeah, I've noticed that like they've always been friends of mine, but I rarely show them games because I'm like, this is definitely not the style you're looking for.
Yeah, they don't do a whole lot of simple games. I mean, they do a few, like mostly like they're smaller games, but like all their bigger games are like very complex.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a good way.
All right, so we're gonna put you on the spot one last time before we go. Daniel and I have developed a thing called the Gamer Criteria, and I'm gonna go through the 5 categories with you, and I want you to pick one of your 3 games. We'll go with Harvest, the newest version. We'll do Imperial and Argent, and you tell us which one fits this criteria the most and why. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
All right, so the G in our Gamer is game immersion, which talks about, is the game fun to lose, the memorable moments, and the depth of strategy. We're jumping away here. The player interaction. So of your 3 games, which one do you think fits that the most?
Oh man, I would say probably Argent. I think Argent has the strongest and most immersive theme. But then on the other hand, like as far as interaction, Imperial can be so cutthroat. Like when you get injured in Argent, like you get a low reward from the medical bay or infirmary, is what it's called. Mm-hmm. But in Imperial, like someone delivers the good that you were planning to deliver, you're just out of luck, and it can be brutal. But yeah, I would. My first instinct is to say Argent.
Cool. Very nice.
The other one is art and production. This is basically the art, the pieces of components, and the graphic design. Mainly with the graphic design, both him and me are colorblind, and so we need to be able to read the board very well.
Oh, okay. For that one, you probably want Harvest. I think they did a great job on the graphic design. Like, I'm hoping Level 99 will do a new edition of Argent, like second edition, and redo the entire graphic design. Not that it's bad. I just think it could be better. More legible. But yeah, I think Harvest really knocked it out of the park in terms of like graphic design. It's colorblind friendly. I worked with them on that because I'm red green colorblind and I have a lot of problems with a lot of games. So and we tried our best with Imperial, but Imperial was just hard because there's so many colors in that game. It's like a very, very colorful game, and I think we did as good a job as we could, but definitely Harvest is the most accessible and also has a really cool art aesthetic.
Very cool. All right, the next category, the M in our G.A.M.E.R, is meaningful choice. That's impact on other players, depth of strategy, tactics, and skills, and do arbitrary choices or AP negatively impact the game experience?
Well, can you repeat that last part?
Sure. It's more of like a negative thing. Do arbitrary choices or AP negatively impact the gameplay?
Right. Yeah, I think for that, Imperial, because there's almost no randomness in Imperial at all, and like all of your choices are like completely laid out in front of you. Like the only randomness I can even think of is when you get a new employee in your company, you basically draft them, you pick up the tiles and you draft them, and you don't know ahead of time what is in there, so you can't really strategize around that. I do believe we put a variant in there though that you could, like, if you're playing with veterans, you could just have the employees, and then you could race for the one you want, like, and draft them first, and prioritize that. So you could even get rid of that random thing. But other than that, it's like the board setup is random, but there's like almost no randomness in that game. And well, what train cards come out is random, but like you see what you're getting. Like, it's not like you're drawing them blindly. So yeah, I would say that.
And then the E in G.A.M.E.R criteria is ease of play. The simplicity and familiarity of the mechanism, the likelihood to get to the table, whether it's the mechanism or the theme on it, or is it easy to learn, understand, and or teach the game?
Yeah, for that I would definitely say Harvest. Although none of them are particularly hard to teach or understand, but Harvest is definitely the lightest, for sure. And the mechanics all make like thematic sense with the farming. You need fertilizer to plant your crops, you need water to grow your crops, and then you harvest them. It's all kind of intuitive.
Very cool. And our last one, the R in G.A.M.E.R, is replay value. That's the length of time and scaling well, minimum number of plays for the full experience, and expandability, whether that's confirmed or hinted at from the publisher or designer. We might get a spoiler here and see if I mean, I'm not trying to hint at unannounced expansions or anything. I'm just saying.
Well, no, I've said it online, so I can tell you that I have designed an expansion to Argent, a really awesome expansion, but I'm kind of saving it, hoping that they're gonna do like a second edition. But they won't do it unless it sells out, and I think they still have some copies to sell. So, like, tell your friends to buy Argent so that we can all get the second edition. Yeah, I would definitely say Argent for that too. Although, I mean, like, because replayability is what I prioritize in my game design, so I would say all three of them are incredibly replayable. They all have asymmetrical characters that really change the gameplay. It's not like a little tweak. Like, I hate when games add asymmetry just to say they have it, like it's a check mark on a box. Like, I want player powers that really like inform and change how you play a game. That's like why Terra Mystica and Age of Innovation are like my favorite games, because I love how asymmetrical all those factions are, and I try to bring that same idea to my game design. So, like, even in Harvest, which is a fairly simple game, the characters have like really powerful abilities that really change things up. But I would say out of all three of them, Argent has the most replayability, just because like it has like a huge stack of spells, a huge stack of items you can get. They're all like do incredible things. You can set up the university completely differently every time you play. All the characters have different starting abilities. All the workers have different abilities, and you draft those at the beginning of every game. I mean, like, there's just a lot there.
That's awesome. So, do you have anything else that you want to say before we send off?
Um, what what games have y'all been playing lately? Tell me your favorite game as of late. Not of all time. Actually, tell me both. What's your favorite game of all time, and what game has really been doing it for you lately?
My favorite game of all time is Gloomhaven. Finally was able to finish off the campaign after like 7 years, so we finally finished that one off. What has been doing it for me lately? This is going to be a simple answer, but it's been Lord of the Rings, the trick-taking game. We've actually been enjoying the mess out of that one. Another one.
You got the two,
Go
you have
ahead.
the two towers yet?
I haven't done the Two Towers yet.
Okay.
I've been looking for it, but it's sold out everywhere in my area. So,
I just got my copy. I was able to find it on Amazon.
Oh,
all
wow.
right, I'll have to look into that because my wife may try to pick them up because she travels for work, so she's going to go to California, and so she'll see if she can get a hold of a copy there. But who knows? But I've been enjoying that one. Another one that is like a favorite for us is Little Devils. It's another little quick little card game.
Oh, what's that about? I don't even.
It's a kind of a trick-taking game. So what's going to happen? It's an old Stronghold game where you're playing cards out, and so whoever leads, the next person is basically setting how everybody else has to play. So they either play higher than the number or lower than the number. And then whoever takes the trick is possibly going to get negative points. Whoever has the least amount of points at the end of the game, I think it's first to 100, will hit the threshold. And then whoever has the least amount of little devils wins the game. It's a neat little trick taker.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like if you've played Six Nimmt or Take Five.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of like that, except like almost a trick-taking style version of that. It's kind of
Okay.
wild, yeah. And then my favorite game is Carcassonne, which is
Okay.
very different. We have a check.
Yeah, I know.
Very different than what I tend to design. And what's been doing it for me lately? This is gonna be a weird combination. Vantage, I've been just playing the mess out of lately. Like
Yeah.
me and one of our game groups play it, and Hitster, which is a totally not Vantage game, but I'm a music file and I love music, and I don't. Hitster is like the best version of Timeline I've ever played. Because I get to listen to music at the same time. Have you played Hitster yet? I don't know if you're into
Oh
music.
yeah, yeah. We played the mess out of History. Yeah.
Yeah, we play it on road trips, like when we're driving. Like, I mean, obviously, I
Oh,
won't
that's
look at
smart.
anything, but we'll play the cooperative version. We'll just have the stereo hooked up. It's like, all right, let's scan the card, and we're all just in the car thinking about it. It's like, pretty sure it's Donna Summer. Pretty sure, Yeah,
I got a recommendation for you then. You
yeah.
should get Pass the Mic. Pass the Mic is a karaoke game, so you flip up a card and it just has a word on it, and there's a mic in the middle, like kind of Jungle Speed style. So you're diving for the mic, and the first person who can think of a song that has that word in the lyrics, you have to grab the mic and start singing the song.
Oh, God.
It's so much fun.
Oh, God.
Highly recommend.
That does sound ridiculous. And
It's your right kind of ridiculous.
that's my kind of. Oh, another game that I've been playing a lot lately is Dro Polter. That is the best stupid game I've been playing. I've been teaching it at our local comic shop. Have you seen Dro Polter?
I don't think so.
Do you like dexterity?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have these 5 weird little items in your hand. You have like a
Oh,
plastic
yeah, the
cube.
ghost game. Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
And you have to drop just the right kind of items. And the first to drop everything except for what shows on the card gets to take the ghost and take a point. And the first 5 points wins. But the points are these little metal bells that actually ring, but you put them in the same hand, and if you ever drop your bells, points are gone. That's on you. And that's the funnest thing, like, because everyone rages so bad during this game. It's just so pleasant.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's my kind of stupid. So, but that and Vantage, which is just an absolutely lovely game.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, and what have you been playing lately too?
Well, I had to cancel my game days for the past 2 weeks because I've been, first we had a winter storm and got snowed in. Well, it didn't snow, it just froze, but there was ice everywhere on the roads. And then after that, I was in New Orleans for a Mardi Gras parade. I just got back yesterday. and so I had a lot of fun there. So I haven't really been playing a lot of board games lately, sadly, but this weekend getting back into it. And I have at BGG they gave us the expansion to Underwater Cities,
Oh
so I
yeah.
have that. I'm hoping to get that to the table. I heard that's a really cool expansion. So
We didn't play the
um,
expansion, but we just got Underwater Cities back to the table and enjoyed the mess out of it.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great game. And then I have the new version of Puerto Rico. I'd like to get that back to the table. Um, I've actually been talking about playing Civolution because I don't think
Yep.
I've played it in like 6 months, and I'm really
Oh,
like
too
wanting
long.
to get back. Yeah, it is too long. So, but yeah, I haven't. I've been kind of playing like a smattering of games lately. Like like occasionally I'll get addicted to games and keep playing it over and over again. Like Age of Innovation. Like when I got that game, we played it like every weekend for months and months and months. But finally got a little tired of it. Not even really tired, but just like I have other games I want to play. But there's expansion of that coming out, so I'm sure that'll hit the table a lot once that comes out. I've been playing Take Time a lot. We're working our way through that.
I've been
Playing
enjoying the
Bomb.
mess out of it too.
Yeah.
Over his
We're
shoulder.
like halfway through Bomb Busters, so I've been playing that a lot too.
Oh, yeah.
So
I need to
yeah.
get that one back to the table. That one's so fun.
yeah, what a great idea, and such a good idea of like a good price for that game. Like Bomb
Yeah.
Buster was only like $25 or something.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
get
it's-
so much game from that. Same thing for Take Time. Take Time was like $20, and there's tons of gameplay in there.
Yeah, first time we looked at Take Time, we
Yeah.
played it at BGG Con, and I just fell in love with it. I loved what it's doing for something as simple as it is.
Yeah, you walked away with it, right? You bought a copy or did
No,
you
that was a
get
Christmas gift.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I guess the heavy game I've been playing lately is Sweetlands. Sweetlands is really good.
I don't think I'm familiar with that. Oh, Sweetlands.
Yeah, we saw it at
Yeah.
BGG Con. It was on the hot tables.
Oh yeah. All those
Yeah.
tables that we couldn't sit at.
Yeah,
only-
we got one game on the
one
hot
game
tables.
on the hotness table. It was Druids
Yeah,
of Eudora.
They're vicious there. Like I made a whole thread about it because I got there first thing in the morning to play a game by Helga, the designer of Terra Mystica. He has that swamp game, Freya Swamp.
Oh
And
yeah.
I got there like super early to play it, and a guy was there saving the spot for his friends, and so I was like, well, it's just one person like saving the table for three guys, whatever. So I'm like, whatever. I was able to get into another game. I played Sanctuary, and that lasted like an hour or so plus teach. It was like 90 minutes. I come back to that table, and they had just started playing. So that guy was just sitting there holding that table for like over an hour.
man.
It was very upsetting.
Yeah, understandably. Is BGG Con your favorite con to go to?
Yes, because I don't do business there for the most part. Like I did meet with Brad this time just because he was there and he usually isn't. But yeah, I that's my gaming convention. Like when I go to Gen Con or I go to Origins, I'm like going to meetings and stuff like that. But like BGG Con, I'm just there to play games, so it's the best.
Awesome.
All right.
Very cool. Well, hang out with us, Trey. We're going to do our outro, and we'll chat with y'all once we're off the episode.
Is there any way for people to get in contact with you? Do you have an Instagram or?
Yeah, my Instagram is KanedaFX, KanedaFX, and I'll generally add board game people. So yeah, if you're interested in following updates there. Now, I don't post a ton of board game content. I mean, there is some, but like my story this weekend was just like eating food in New Orleans.
I mean, it's New Orleans, so.
Yeah, it was a great time.
I know every time I go to New Orleans, I've never been to New Orleans. But if I ever went to New Orleans, I'd want to eat some food at some point, I'm sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, eating is good. Who knew?
Yep.
All right, so we'll do our little outro, hang out with us for a bit. So if you ever want to contact us directly, you can email us at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com, as well as check out our Instagram, instagram.com/everydayboardgames, where you can check the games that Daniel and I have been playing or the shenanigans I've been posting lately.
All video re-uploads and reviews are found under youtube.com/@everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on the platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. So you can join us, make sure you follow us there so you're notified when we do a live episode, and comment while we're actually filming.
And all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So as always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank our special guest, Trey Chambers, for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
All right. And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.